Lee, I forgot to bring. Do you have that? Do you have it? Evening to everyone. I'll give you all another chance to respond. I want to say good evening to everyone. Thank you all. I want to know how much time you have to be here tonight before I get started. Hour. How many have an hour? Okay, how many have an hour and a half? How many have? Okay, how many people have 2 hours? Okay, so I can see that we're in agreement. An hour and a half should be sufficient for me to be able to share exactly what's going on in the city, how the city is progressing financially, what are some of the things that we plan on doing for the upcoming year, and what are some of the things that have already transpired. I am going to be able to deal with, before I get into the presentation, a few items that is not on the screen, but I feel that it's a perfect time to be able to deal with. Number one, why is the Senior Activity Center closed? Number two, why did the mayor kill the Whistle Stop Festival? Which I really did not know about that until I returned home, but we'll talk about that. And then number three, we'll talk about some things that was discussed at the council meeting when I wasn't here that talks about the city audit. I'm here to be able to share with you, to be transparent with you. I have nothing to hide, nor am I running from any individual. So I hope that we have a wonderful time tonight. I hope you've come with a lot of questions, because I just want to be able to cover the material, but I really want to be able to hear from you as we prepare to move into 2024. Can everybody hear me? Okay, because I've been having issues with my voice, so I don't want to strain it or talk too much, since next week I'll be hollering and screaming at the U.S. Open for a few days. So I'm going to visit our daughter, so I always look forward to doing that on an annual basis. If you all don't mind, I'm going to ask you if you would bow your heads. I'm going to open this up in a word of prayer, and then I will proceed to deal with the first three issues that I mentioned before I get into the presentation. Also, I would give you a chance, as I'm dealing with those three issues, if you would like to be able to ask me some questions at that time. I also want you to feel free to do that as well. May we bow our heads. Oh, Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for giving us this day and this opportunity to be able to come and hear about such a great city. I am honored to have this opportunity and chance to be able to share with your people. I thank you for allowing me to be the vessel that you've selected at this time to be able to move the city forward. My job is to be able to move it in a positive or prosperous, and to make sure that I'm fair, right, and just with everyone that makes up the 13,587 people that you've entrusted me with. So we ask that you show up to our meeting tonight, that you speak to our hearts, that our eyes are open, that our ears are attentive, and that most of all, that we're in a place that we can hear a word from you. So we thank you for this day. We ask that you continue to have your hands on the city of Irondale. And if you are in agreement, I would ask you to say, amen. The first thing that I wanted to address was the Senior Activity Center. The reason that I decided to be able or decided to close the Senior Activity Center for a period of time is because I have determined that the center has lost its mission and vision and why it was created to be at the city in the first place. And I want to be able to reorganize it so that it can operate in a way that it was designed initially to operate. Therefore, because of limited staff, because I did move some individuals before I got ready to leave last week, there was not enough staff there to be able to deal with the situation. I did not want to leave 2 unclassified employees in charge of what was going on there. So I decided, in the best interest of the city, to be able to close the center, to begin a reorganization plan that would probably take somewhere 30 to 45 days, to be able to bring someone in the interim to be able to run the center until I can strategically work through the personnel board to be able to receive a list of individuals that will become, one of those individuals will become the leader there, that understands the vision, that can plan to the, and also that has the necessary leadership skills to be able to move the center forward. So that's why I decided to temporarily close the center until we could achieve those objectives. Do anybody have any questions about that? Ann? I see the mission and vision of the center is to be able to provide a safe place for seniors to come, to be able to fellowship with one another, to be able to have activities that fit what we're trying to be able to do here at the city, and also to be a beacon of light, a hope to the rest of the community to see what Irondale is providing for their senior population.
I'm excited about the new vision, and I look forward to the celebration again. The only issue I had, was it was sudden. And I know you may not have control, but I appreciate it.
Yes, well, it's, as a leader, when you see something and you know that it's not working the way that it should go, I knew that I wasn't going to be here until tonight. So there's no way with a good conscience that I could leave town knowing what had transpired and what was going on and who was up there to be able to lead it and to take care of it. There's no way that I could leave the people in that condition. So I decided that the best thing would be to close it until we can get a better handle and to put a better plan, put more people, and get with the vision that we have here. I know it wasn't popular because even before I could get to my destination, I received 2 phone calls from the news that wanted to know if I could do an interview. And I'm sitting in the Delta Lounge and, well, can you pull out your laptop? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that, but I will give you a statement to let you know why I did what I did. And I have no problem sitting down and talking to everybody when I get back, but I'm not going to divulge personnel issues. I'm not going to share that information. I'm not going to throw anybody up under the bus to make my decision seem like, oh, that's why he did what he did. I'm just asking you all to trust me that I made a decision that's in the best interest of the citizens of Irondale, as well as the seniors that come from other municipalities to be here, and that when it reopens, it will be one of the best activity centers in the region.
Bishop, I understand only been there for 1 year. And uh, how the young man out in the Freedom Fest was a dancer. He was not a stripper. He danced with all his clothes on. He did not strip any clothes.
Almost. Yeah, I've seen the video. As they say, the video don't lie. But, okay.
Martin, you go get called for a game show, practice.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was very interesting from what I had a chance to see. So you're absolutely right about that. Okay.
Didn't know exactly how those packages were done. And I did ask Miss Susan, did she have permission to do the fish? And I told her,
Okay. I appreciate your I appreciate that with you and everyone at the city, that before anything is supposed to take place, it's supposed to go through that process, and it failed to go through that process because there's no way I would have agreed to a male dancer, exotic dancer, or whatever other dancer we want to call it, to be able to take place in our public building there. I know everybody's it's what a good way to open up a boring meeting talking about money is to be talking about stripping at the senior activity center. Only in Irondale can you get that kind of entertainment. But I appreciate it, Ms. Cunningham. I did call you. I did leave a message with you after you sent me an email. So I have no problem talking with you later about that. But wow, we're going to have a good night tonight. I don't even think I can top that. If you all don't mind, I think I'm gonna just shut it down, go home. Yeah, I've been in municipal government for a long time. And well, anyway, let's move on to subject number 2. Subject number 2 is the Whistle Stop Festival. So I've heard that the mayor shut down the Whistle Stop Festival. And I would like to tell you that the mayor did not shut down the Whistle Stop Festival. The Whistle Stop Festival is a separate organization from the city. The city was here to be able to facilitate the Whistle Stop being here, because when I ran for office, that was one of the things that I was asked, Mayor, well, if you were elected mayor, would you work to be able to get the Whistle Stop Festival to be able to come back to the city of Irondale? And I did that. Matter of fact, I'll ask you all, have you all seen anybody from the Whistle Stop Festival since the Whistle Stop Festival has been back at the city to get up and address the council and talk about the city supporting the Whistle Stop Festival? I can answer that for you. It's no, because I talked to them about that and I shared with them that I will bring that to the city council to see if we could be able to get funding for it. So we decided this year, as we were negotiating the contract, the negotiations fell apart. The Whistle Stop organization said that we will honor the same contract that we had last year, Mayor, since we can't seem to agree on a new one for this year. They submitted the contract to the city, but when the city attorney reviewed the contract was not the same contract that we had the year before. There were changes that had been made to the contract from the group that represents the Whistle Stop Festival, although they said we are giving you the same contract that we had the year before. At that time, I decided that since you all have already performed a revision to the contract, we will go ahead and revise the contract, and that's what we did. We didn't change the amount, $20,000. We said that as soon as you sign the contract with the city, we will provide you with $2,500 to go ahead and get the liability insurance for the event. As soon as you get 40 paid vendors, we will release another $7,500 for the event to take place. And as soon as the event is over and you provide all of the receipts, all of the documentation to be able to support the money that you spent for the festival, we will give you the other $10,000. That did not sound unreasonable to me. My job is to protect the city and to make sure that the risk for the city is minimized. And that's what we did. We had a resolution. The council voted on the resolution. It was adopted. We presented them with the contract, and they never signed the contract. So you want to hear the real story about what transpired? It wasn't that the mayor killed the Whistle Stop Festival because it didn't have his name on it. It wasn't that the mayor is trying to control every event and everything that happens in the city. The mayor was just only looking out for the city. Instead of giving $20,000 with no accountability, we built in those parameters and say every time you meet one of those parameters, we will provide you with funding. Therefore, I can't go out and do the work for you. And if you were dissatisfied with the contract, I think you would have picked up the phone and called and say, hey, can we revisit it? But just to go out and tell people the reason that we're not having it because the city removed its in-kind services and the city changed the contract, I don't feel that that's acceptable. And I know that that's not the correct story to tell. So that's why I'm here to share with you all what really happened. Anybody have any questions about the whistle stop? Okay. Third thing, when I was not here at the city council meeting on last Tuesday, there was a report that was made at the end of the council meeting talking about the city audit. The city audit is a public document. So it's not, again, it's not that we are trying to hide anything that is going on in the city. But there was some statements that was made, and the mayor's name was tied to those statements. So I don't ever go looking for a fight, but I'm not going to allow somebody to use my name in a way that is improper or incorrect. If you tell the truth, I have no issue with that. But I would say, at least tell the truth. So I'm going to read to you what was in the report. I'm going to interpret to you what was in the report. And I have the individuals here tonight that wrote the report that would shed light on this particular finding. One of the things was said that I didn't see this in the budget I didn't see this in the audit from last year, so why did it pop up this year? Well, the reason that it popped up this year because the state of Alabama changed their statutes, changed the law, and said that this information has to be included in your audit. So that's why it was included in the audit this year, and you didn't see any findings in the audit last year. And it reads, deficiencies in internal control, 2022-1. Condition, until June 2022, the city did not have complete written policies and procedures for the accounting function. Criteria. Policies and procedures are essential in order to have consistency across accounting transactions. Cause and effect. Failure to outline clear policies can lead to errors or omissions in the city's financial statements. Additional termination or retirement of key staff could result in inefficiencies, as any replacements would have no information on procedures. Recommendation. We recommend the city create and adopt written policies for all positions. Plan corrective action. The city and management agree with these deficiencies and internal controls. The city has implemented steps to adopt formal written policies and procedures across departments. Let me read that one for you one more time. Plan corrective action. The city has implemented steps to adopt formal written policies and procedures across departments. As I read that deficiency when it deals with internal controls, how many of y'all have worked on a job and they ask you to create standard operating procedures? And why do they ask you to create standard operating procedures? In the event that you die, retire, or you're sick and somebody needs to come in and do your job for the day, there is a written document that allows them to read that document and to be able to do as much as your job that could be fulfilled before you return to work. It doesn't mean that there's anything being done improperly. It doesn't mean that accounting functions are not being covered. It only means that you have a document that in the event that God takes me home today, which I hope he don't, but I should have some information somewhere where somebody can come in and be the mayor and pick up the document and the city doesn't miss a beat. So that's what it was saying in that document. The reason that I'm trying to hire another accountant has nothing to do with hiring another auditor to audit the audit. Because that's ludicrous to hire another auditor to audit what you've already paid somebody to audit. What I was looking to do is to hire someone that can help the city close their books at the end of the month, to close their books at the end of the year. So when the auditors come in, everything has already been done throughout the year, that they do not have to backtrack to do those things, but they can start out by doing the audit. So I'm going to ask the auditors. I'm not going to speak for them. They don't want to speak for them, but that's pretty much, did I get it right? Okay, so anybody have any questions about the audit or what was going on with the audit or why the mayor wants to hire another person to be able to come in and help the accounting department? It has nothing to be able to audit the audit, but is someone who understands municipal accounting, who can come in at the end of the month, at the end of the year, help us do prepaid expenses, help us calculate interest on fixed expenses or depreciation on fixed expenses, to be able to take all of the indebtedness that the city has and to put that into a schedule that shows what interest and principal has been paid for the entire fiscal year. That's what the mayor was trying to achieve by doing that.
Mayor Stewart, may I please comment, because I am the one that made the comment, so I need to explain.
No,
Okay?
no.
I did speak with the auditor.
I just said no. This is not your.
And I just want
I just
to get clarity on the comments that were
I just
made.
said
Did I give the
no.
auditor to do that?
This is the mayor's town hall meeting. This is not the Cindy Cuellar show. I will, if you want to talk about it, you talk about it at the city council meeting on September the 5th. Or you call your own work session and you can do it there. You didn't have a problem talking about it the other night when I wasn't there. So you can talk about it. Okay. Well, we're not going to get sidetracked. That's my story. Sticking to it. Craig?
The other accounting position you're looking for, Mayor, is that a full-time or a part-time job?
It's a contract position.
Contract, okay, thank you.
All right. So that's my answer to that whole deal there. Even tonight when we're talking about the budget, there's nothing in the state code that requires a municipality to have a budget. It's at the discretion of the municipality to decide if they want to have a budget. The city council doesn't dictate to the mayor when the mayor gives the city council the budget. But the mayor gives the city council the budget once he and the staff has completed the budget. Now, it is the responsibility of the council to adopt it. The council is in control of all of the funds at the city of Irondale, but there's nothing in the law that requires me to do something at a certain time unless I want to do that at that certain time. So I do want to make sure that I make that disclaimer before we get started and move into discussing what you all really came here for tonight. Okay, we're going to have a budget. We project the total revenue for the city this year to be 34,000. Yeah. I'm sorry. We wouldn't even make it through 1 week at 34,000. That's 34,080,869.35. Breakdowns for revenue is property tax, which this year we're projecting that will be around $3 million. I definitely don't want you all to be upset in October when you get your tax bill, because if you remember, you voted for a tax increase. So that tax increase comes home to roost on October 1st of 23. So we are looking for $3 million to be able to come in property tax for the upcoming year. Our revenue breakdown, sales and use tax is about $19 million. We are really looking for a tremendous boost in sales tax with the new Publix scheduled to open either late October or early November. And we also are blessed to be able to have 14 different brands of automobile dealerships in the city of Irondale. So we're looking for them to provide an increase to that as well. So we project that we'll have about $19 million in sales and use tax. Although we reduce the occupational license fee by a quarter of a percentage point, we still project that we're going to have about $4 million to come in for the occupational license fee. Do we have any plans to be able to reduce it in the future? And the question to that is no. Revenue breakdown, business licenses also provide about $2.5 million to the city. We are getting ready to revise our business license ordinance. The last time that ordinance was edited was in 2007. So we're in 2023 now, so we plan on making some adjustments to our business license ordinance, and it will probably produce more revenue than what we project here on the screen. Garbage collection fees is around $1.3 million. Do you all want to know if that's going to increase this year? Do you all feel that the fees should increase, decrease, or remain the same? Okay, well, at the present time, Frank and I are doing a cost study to determine how much we spend on garbage, trash, and recycling. Because this is a service that we provide to the citizens, and I do not feel that any service that we provide, that we should provide it at a deficit. So we're looking this year to be able to determine what is the true cost to be able to collect your garbage, your trash, as well as recycling. And once we come up with that amount, we're planning on making sure that we educate you about why we're doing what we're doing, but also to provide you with that information to let you know if we are going to increase anything, this is the reason that we have the increase. In our reserve fund, our policy says that we should have 25% of our projected revenue, or I can't remember if it's expenses. Don't quote me on it, don't hold me to it, but at the present time, we have about $10 million $137,327.88 in reserves. And also, if you all want to have a copy of any of these figures, we want to try to section on the side so that you can make notes. But if anybody wants to be able to get a copy of this, make sure you let Lee know, and she'll provide you with that. And then as soon as we get the budget created, I'll also provide you with the budget as well, so you'd get a chance to be able to see that information. But we are going to work to be able to increase our reserves, because we've raised the revenue and we've raised the expenses. We probably need to go back and to adjust it, but we try to have at least 25% of expenses or revenue tucked away in a reserve fund. All right, total expenses is, I wish it was 30,000, but it's 30,735,963.15, which is composed of our fire department. The fire department, Lee, is that the most expensive department that we have? Do you all want us to go to a volunteer fire department? Okay, Josh, they back there somewhere. So Josh will still be fire chief for a while. But that's our total budget there. A lot of it includes personnel benefits, retirement, health insurance, dental insurance, life insurance, workers' comp. We also have a lot of equipment. We've got an up-to-date fleet when it comes to our fire department. So we also take our lease payments out of that. And just let me help you 1 second. I'll pause there to talk about the difference between a municipal lease and a lease that you all are used to hearing that people have on a car. A municipal lease is just like having a note. But it allows us the flexibility to be able to, instead of having it as a capital item and having to pay for it, it allows us to be able to pay for it over time. So it doesn't mean that we don't own the asset. We do own the asset. It's just our way of being able to finance the asset at a cheaper rate and to be able to do it through the municipal lease than it is for us to be able to go to the banks, go to the market to be able to do something else with it. Second is the administration department. And the reason that administration is so high, because we do have a couple of rebates that we may have had some economic deals to be able to come through the city, and to a part of those development agreements were to provide a rebate to those companies. We actually account for that through the admin building, but our property and casualty comes through admin. All of our contractors come through admin. What we pay Jefferson County for the personnel board comes through admin. So there's a lot of expenses that come through admin. So that's why you'd see that figure at that amount, $5,711,680 for admin. The police department comes in at $4,646,000. We have, I want to say, about 39 officers and 7 dispatchers, Jason. So we have a total of about 46 in personnel there, but probably 80% of that is tied to benefits, salaries, insurance, workers' comp, retirement, that is tied there to our police budget. The next one is, is debt service. And the debt service for the city this year is $4,132,412. Usually, to have a good coverage for a debt service, they recommend about a quarter of your budget going for debt services, and these are some of the best practices that comes from the Governmental Financial Officers Association. But as you can see, if you take that $4,132,412 and you divide that into 34 million, you will see that we have less than 15% of our budget allocated to going towards debt. So when you hear that the city is, we do have about $47 million in debt, but we can service the debt that we have here at the city and this is how much we've allocated to pay from the general fund for this fiscal year. Public Works is around 3,851,606. I mean, Frank has a little bit of everything. He has he's the only one that's blessed, and I don't know if it's a blessing, but he has about 5 departments that he has to deal with, on a day-to-day basis. But he does a very good job in managing the area there. But they're responsible for, he has a group that deals with the fleet. He has a group that deals with beautification. Then you have your regular public works. You have a group that kind of works inside to be able to do the buildings as well. Very diverse group. I always say public works is the engine that makes a city go. We talk about that the fire department and the police department are the Ms. Cunningham, I don't know why you didn't think about getting some in-house entertainment when you all was looking for somebody to perform up there doing the. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they're not on the call, they may have been able to. I just can't let that one go, you all. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to work. I'm still trying to work through that one, but. Public Works, great department. Wouldn't be a city without them. Couldn't get anything done if we didn't have them here to be able to do what they do. And then we have about $1 million that we set aside to be able to deal with capital projects. Okay. Any questions about the budget?
I just have one of the things that we always need to catch up was like retirements and the money for future employees retiring. What is that under in our budget?
Well, that is in a separate category. They have their retirement that comes through the RSA, but we also have another category. If you read the audit, I can't remember exactly what page is on. You all may know, Stephen, but it has to do with OPEB. So there's an accounting for that is included in the audit, and it shows exactly how much money the city has in there, how much money is projected that the city needs to be able to have in there, and then what investments that the city has that money in to be able to get a rate of return to make sure that it's a sufficient amount of money to be able to do it. We still, one of the things about that is that one of the things about, we are one of the few municipalities that actually puts money in that fund. A lot of municipalities don't do it because the theory behind it, you really need that money if tomorrow everybody shows up and say they're going to retire. Then that part that they can now consider to be a liability, you would need to have those funds on hand to be able to provide that to those individuals. Any other questions? Well, according to Emma, I only got 60 seconds to cover each one of those items. So if you all want to time me, here we go. Dog park. Bids came in July 25th. The amount was around $730,000. The landscaper or the architect that designed it and put it out for bid is currently going through the bid to make sure that the specs were met. Once we can identify that the specs have been met for the RFP that was put out, we'll bring a resolution to the council to adopt it. And within 30 to 60 days, the contractor will be at Ellert Park beginning construction on the City of Irondale new dog park. Automall marketing. I want to be able to thank the council for agreeing to allow us to develop a marketing campaign that will highlight Irondale as being the automotive high-end car capital of the South. There's no city I know within the Alabama state part that has as many luxury automobiles or automobiles dealerships in one place that the city of Irondale has. Does anybody want to take a guess how many brands we have out there? I gave it to you earlier tonight. 14. So there are 14 brands that are out there. So we're getting ready to do a campaign to increase the exposure and the visibility of the Auto Mall. We're hoping that it generates an additional $1 million that will go into the general fund to allow us to be able to provide services for our citizens. City road paving plan. Within the last 2 years, we've spent over $5 million in cash repaving a lot of the city roads. We had a pavement management plan that said that we should only be able to accomplish that in 12 years. And we've been able to accomplish that in 2 years. So we are through with the pavement plan. But Frank and I are going to do a, what is it, Frank, ride-by? We're going to go back through the community, some of the streets that got patching, some of the streets that received the crack sealing. We're now getting ready to go into our third phase. We're going to identify those streets, and they may come up to be able to receive more extensive asphalt to them. But we're looking at doing another phase, phase 3, and we will probably announce that somewhere in November or the new year. Is anybody in here that's been affected by having freshly paved roads? Just one person?
Something. I moved back to Irondale 23 years ago, and for the first time, I loved it.
Okay. Well, we're trying to do as much as we can. I did not know people love paved roads, but I do now. Municipal complex. We are in the process of, you all know that we purchased the old Marks Fitzgerald building. We also own Regions. We're going to take those 2 buildings, combine it into one, and put a new police station, new courts, and also a new administration building. So hopefully within a year or two, the next time you come to a town hall meeting, council meeting, we won't be in this building, but we'll be in the new facility to be able to do that. So we have our homegrown architect working on that. That's here tonight, Chip Gardner. So if you all got any questions, Chip is on the back row back there, and he'll be happy to let you all know how he's proceeding with that project. The library is the next project. We've completed the sketch for the library. The only thing that we're getting ready to do now is to create the construction documents for it. We're looking to go out to bid for this after January because anytime you do any of these projects getting into the latter part of the year, a lot of the companies are getting ready for the holidays and they're not bidding on projects. Or you may get a few to bid on it that's very expensive. So we've made the decision internally not to bid those projects out this year, but to wait to the beginning of next year so that we can get more bidders, which will allow us to have more people involved, which hopefully will be able to drive down the cost. And the last thing that we have there is sidewalk project. Those bids were opened about a week ago. So we're getting ready to do some sidewalks. Frank, you want to tell them exactly where? I can't remember the streets or whatever, but if you could.
Yes, the sidewalk project will start right here in front of City Hall. It'll be both sides of the road, making it ADA compliance down to 2nd Avenue. Goes all the way down 2nd Avenue to 16th Street. It'll turn left there, go along in front of the school, preparing those crosswalks, the ramps. It'll go down to 5th Avenue and turn left and connect to the existing sidewalk on 5th Avenue, which should interconnect most of the city. It'll be on both sides of the road going down 2nd Avenue, the school side on 16th Street.
And that was $660,000. And is that an 80/20 through ALDOT? So it's 80/20 through ALDOT. Anybody have any questions about these 60-second updates on these particular items? Okay, Sonia.
Get the opportunity, and I don't know if there's another group that does it, to actually see the layout before it's sent to the final receiver.
Yes. Yes, you can. Okay. Adrian? Adrian? Then I'll get Ms. Mira.
Okay, I just want to know, have a name been chosen for the dog park?
It has. It was announced today during the Red Rock Trail. That was, I don't know if you all had a chance to be able to see that press conference that we had with that. But the people really got a chuckle out of the name. It's going to be called the James Douglas Stewart Jr. Dog Park. They laughed too. They laughed when I said that too, because we have a cat. So I don't have a dog, but we have a cat. But what we're going to do. How many people in here have the app on your phone? Okay, well, most of y'all have the app on your phone. So what we plan on doing is having a naming contest through the app for the new, what will be the name for the new dog. So the citizens will name it, but you will have to have the app on your phone and respond through the app to be able to do it. Okay, Ms. Spearman, I'm sorry.
I wanted to know what the vision is for the current youth complex, what the new one is built, about the.
Oh, okay. It is, and this is just you all. This is just the mayor's vision. So I'm not, so you all can take it for what it's worth. But the goal is to be able to turn this whole area into an entertainment district. To be able to create, take all the buildings, because we found another location for Public Works. Public Works is going to be moving to Ruffner Road. The library is moving to Grants Mill, and City Hall is moving to Crestwood. So this entire area will be open for development. We plan on taking RFPs and getting with developers that are used to developing entertainment districts, taking proposals, and kind of going from there.
I just want to look forward to partnering with you to make sure the citizens that are here are still happy and noise is a controlled situation. So, thank you.
Okay, we want you to be a part of the process. We don't want you to feel displaced. So we want you to be a part of the process. Any other questions? All right. Okay. I don't know if you all had your radio on this morning, but I was listening to the news. And the first thing they mentioned in the news is the roundabout in Irondale. Then I began to listen to the traffic report. What was the first thing on the traffic report? The roundabout in Irondale. I didn't know that this roundabout would be so popular. I mean, I've even received calls to do an interview about driving around in a circle. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a circle. If you stay in the one lane that is there, and if you get in the right lane when you need to get off, there will not be a problem. But the city of Irondale is very popular just because we have a roundabout. I was down in the Black Belt. They got a roundabout in Woodstock. But I don't hear anybody talking about the roundabout in Woodstock, which people have sure been talking about the roundabout in Irondale. When I was on my way to City Hall today, now, yeah, there can be some problems because it was somebody in front of me, and all of a sudden, they started looking to the left. I said, please don't turn to the left. Just go to the right, and everything's going to be all right. And they finally decided to go to the right, so we avoided having a crash up there this morning. But very popular. A lot of people like to talk about it and everything. So it's definitely giving Irondale some interesting flavor, and everybody wants to, talk about it. You all may want to know what's going to take place in the middle. Initially, they were going to erect a steel statue of the current mayor. And they decided that it would be a distraction. I even seen where somebody responded on Facebook, it better not be a statue of the mayor. Well, whoever wrote that, I want to encourage you tonight, it's not going to be a statue of the mayor, but there is a volunteer group right now that is working to come up with some designs of some of the things that could be in the middle of the roundabout. And it's not anybody that I picked. This is a group that organically created themselves that said that they wanted to do something for the city of Irondale. Also, the county has expressed an interest if the city wants to put a mural on that big concrete wall on Grants Mill as well. So we're also looking into the opportunity of putting a mural or welcoming people as they come into the city of Irondale on that wall as well. I guess I took longer than 60 seconds on that, but that seemed to be the talk of the town. Publix is coming soon. I had a chance to be able to visit them and do a walkthrough at the store on yesterday. So it's beginning to take shape, and they expect for it to open, as I stated earlier, late October, early November. The recycling program is going great. On Thursday, they selected me to be able to give the welcome for the entire group that recycles throughout the state of Alabama in Pelham. So I'm honored to be able to go and speak or to do the welcome on the behalf of the city of Irondale for that. That afternoon, we will pick up a check for $283,000 to go into the recycling program. We're getting a new recycling truck, 1,000 new recycling cans, and $20,000 is going towards education. I want to let you all know I beat you up when you're not doing well, but I want to applaud you for doing good because you all are doing a very good job with how you all are recycling, making sure you put the right things in there, making sure that the lid is closed, making sure that everything fits in the can instead of putting stuff up under the can. So it took some time, but you all are doing a great job. So I want you all to give yourself a hand. Okay, the Red Rock Action Plan. This was today. And that is Mayor Penny from Fairfield, yours truly from Irondale, Mayor McCluskey from Homewood, and Mayor Woodfin from Birmingham. This is a brand new 36-mile trail that is going to go throughout the Jefferson County area. It has 7 loops that are going to be a part of it, and Irondale happens to be one of the new loops. It's going to bring 19 new miles of trails to the area as well. It will also connect the north side to the south side and Ruffner Park to the new dog park. So we'll even have better connectivity in that area as well. So we are excited about being a part of that plan. I know, Jenny, you know that plan has been out for quite some time. So it's finally starting to come to fruition. And then the last thing is the property tax referendum. I've already talked about that. So I know you all are going to be happy to pay your property tax in October when you have that new 6.5 mil increase. Branding previews. You all know that we started on a campaign to be able to brand the city. We hired a group to be able to do it. They were supposed to be at I Love Irondale but that didn't work out. But they are going to be at the music festival. So if you all want to be able to see what's the new color palette or what's the new recommended color palette for that, we ask you that if you are at the music festival, that you would give us some input and let us know what you think about those colors. We also have a new logo that is designed that's going to be on everything throughout the city. We have a new website that is going to be coming up. We're going to retool the app. So everything is going to be consistent. It's going to have the same look, same feel, very contemporary, very cool feel. So we're looking forward to that. The new tagline for the city is building community, building the future. In everything that we do, we try to make sure that it centers around building community, building the future. And that is the color suggested color pattern. I can't even get them out. I'm sorry, you all. But that's the new, these are the suggested colors for the city. We want to have we're all about ecotourism, taking advantage of the assets that we have here with Ruffner, the Cahaba, and then we have where people hike, bike, do all those things in there. So we're trying to be able to pick up this with Ruffner. Then this is a youthful, creative energy for the city. If you go and look at the roundabout, the color of the brick that is in the roundabout reflects that color right there. So we've already started to incorporate it, and it wasn't really where Frank and I gave them the colors. They basically sent it to us and say, what do you all think about this as being the color of the brick that is in the roundabout? And it just happened to fall in line with some of the colors that we would like to use as we rebrand the city. And then, of course, we have to talk about the Cahaba River, which is a big part of the city. We just purchased 2 Polaris to make sure that we can patrol down on the Cahaba on a regular basis. Jason, police chief, they've been sending police officers out for a couple of hours a day to take those vehicles down there and to patrol to make sure that everything is copacetic down there. And we're also looking to put together a group where on the weekends, and especially on during the holiday season, where we have firemen, public works to clean up, and police to make sure that people are protected while they're down there on the river. So we're going to make sure that we increase safety down there and to be able to take care of that natural asset that we have. And then we can't forget our history, a warm industrial history. Railroad tracks just right there on the other side of the building. So we're just trying to incorporate what we feel that the city of Irondale is all about, and then to be able to show that with colors. So I would love to be able to have you all's feedback on, if you like them, you don't like them, whatever. But it's your city, your logo, your brand. So we want to make sure that you have some input with that as well. And that's just a mock-up of what could be the brand new logo. And if you look at the color patterns here, all of the patterns or the colors that I just showed you on the previous slide is incorporated into that particular diagram. Those are just some other things that we could do with banners, put it around the city as well. Okay, on October the 7th, the city of Irondale, I would say, is one of the few municipalities that support Hispanic Heritage Month. So we're going to do that on October the 7th. I do not think Alabama Auburn is playing at that time. So make sure that you all come out and to be able to be a part of that. But there are going to be food trucks. Last year, I got on the Mechanical Bull, and I think they sped it up on purpose because I didn't stay up there very long. But you'll be able to enjoy that. Face painting. We're going to have a car and truck show, a bouncy house for the kids. So I promise you that there's going to be a little of something for everybody to be able to be there. But it's called the 3rd Annual Yo Amo Irondale Festival. It'll be right there in front of City Hall, and I invite you all to come out and participate in that. And we're also having the music festival that's going to be at Beacon Park on September the 23rd. It's going to be absolutely free. We have Pastor Mike Jr., whose father is Pastor Mike Sr., who is our chaplain, but is also the pastor across the street from the library. His son is going to be here. He's going to be the closer. We have Eric Benet, who's a Grammy-nominated R&B singer. We have Lewis and York, who are two Grammy Award writers who decided that they wanted to get in front of their product instead of being behind it and to allow others to be able to sing their music. One of the individuals that they've written for is Rihanna. So if you all are familiar with her. And then we have Kim Scott, homegrown, here in the city of Birmingham. Matter of fact, she's going to be at the city council meeting on September the 5th, and she's going to give us a little flavor of what she's going to play at the Jazz Festival. And then we have Lamont Landers, Tara Kennedy, who is an up-and-coming country and western singer. Grew up in Gardendale. She's now in Nashville. I think she just performed at the Country Music Awards. So we are trying to get her on the come up so we don't have to pay so much for it. And then we're going to finish up with Marissa Luna, who is an individual that lives in the Jefferson County area as well. The concert is absolutely free. Only thing you have to do is go to the Irondale Community Foundation and sign up. And as they get closer to the concert, they'll send you tickets. But even if you don't have your tickets, you can still come. We just want everybody to come. And we are expecting about 3,000 people to come to this event inside the city and outside the city. And that's it. It's okay, you can clap. You all can clap, but one of the commitments I made when I ran for office that I'd make sure that I wouldn't come to you when it was election time, but I would try to be in front of you as we go along the way. I would also state the things that we would do or what we would try to do. And if we didn't accomplish those things, I would always say, the American Democratic way is you vote people out. And I still stand by that. I'm glad that I have an opportunity to be able to serve. I feel that with the staff that we have here, we've been able to do a wonderful job in being able to move the city of Irondale forward. And when I was at the Red Rock event on today, there were so many people that were coming up to me wanting to know what's going on in the city of Irondale. And the only thing that I can think about to share with them is that the city of Irondale has been able to do all of the things that we attempted to do, not because of the mayor, M-A-Y-O-R, but it's because of the favor of God. And favor is spelled F-A-V-O-R. And I truly believe that as long as we stay where we need to be, that if we be right and just and fair with everybody that we're dealing with, that those things will continue to happen. My job is to be able to get out of the way and allow him to be able to do what he does and have great people to be able to work with and wonderful citizens to be able to serve at the same time. Do anybody have any questions or anything that you want to ask about Ann? Frank?
Last one that we had was about 23%. So we're hovering around 20 to 25%.
If anybody would like to be on our education team, because we have $20,000 to be able to use towards educating the community about recycling and other environmental things that are going on. So if you'd like to be a part of that, make sure you see Emma and let her know that, the only reason we could be great as a community if we get everybody in the community involved and to be able to do something. We're much stronger with 50 minds than we are with one. Okay. Any other?
schools by asking a lot of community people to come in and help assist the younger students with the reading program. Have we thought about implementing something like that?
We have not. We have not, but great idea. Any other? Did I forget anything, you all? Frank? Greg? Butch? All right, well, you all said you'll give me an hour and a half, and I'm gonna give you 20 minutes back. It's 7:11. But again, I want to thank you all for coming out. I hope there's something that you learned that you did not know about what's going on in the city. I ask that you stay tuned to all of the wonderful projects and things that are going on here. If you have any ideas, we ask that you share those ideas with us, because we are only strong as a city as we get everyone to be able to participate and to find their place. I hope that you all have a safe drive to your destination. And as I always close our message with the mayor, not only do I love the city of Irondale, but I love you all too. Have a good night.